Well, hello there, and welcome to Cityline. It is great to be in your home. We are zooming from my kitchen, and we have a great show ahead of us. Later on, we'll be talking with the Tacoma Tree Foundation. Sarah will be here, and we get to find out exactly what they are doing with all the trees here in Tacoma. The Rise at 19th is here. This is a beautiful, brand new art installation in Tacoma, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. MDC is here. Pam and Rob will be here to talk about one of their podcasts called Straight Talk. Then Humane Society will be here with the Pet of the Week. And with me now is Bloodworks Northwest. I have the Executive Vice President of Bloodworks Northwest, Vicki Finson. Hello, Vicki, and welcome to Cityline.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
So, Vicki, let's talk about how is Bloodworks, because blood is worth everything, Bloodworks Northwest doing during the pandemic?
Overall, we've actually done an amazing job because of our wonderful community. People have realized that the need is there, and if anything, we've had some very high blood usage over the last year, and the community has responded. I will say that right now we are at some of our lower inventory levels that we've seen since about last March.
So when you say we are at that lower level, is there a technical term for the current state of our local blood supply?
Yes, I think there is. It's a great question. We are critically low of certain types of blood, O positive, Bs, B positive, B negative, A negative, and all blood types are lower than we would like them to be, but very critical for O pos. And O pos is the most common blood type, so more patients tend to be O pos than anything else. And also O pos is used for trauma. So if anyone's listening to this and they know they're an O, or they just want to donate blood, this would be a great time. The snow really set us back because we had about 3 days where it was really hard for people to get out of their homes to donate blood. And so we really lost some ground that we're still trying to make up.
So, Vicki, you said something that I want to kind of tag on to. You said if someone's OPA and watching this, come on in. So if somebody is a first-time blood donor, would you walk us through the whole process, beginning with how do I get started, given it's a pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is you realize that you're going to really make an impact and save a life. And a great first step is to go to the Bloodworks website, bloodworksnw.org, or just Google Bloodworks. And it will talk you through or show you through some of the important things you need to know, and a brief review of what things you need to do to be able to donate blood. It's really important that you do that first step because you must make an appointment. So before the pandemic, people could just walk in. So they could go to one of our blood centers or one of our pop-ups. And I think we're going to talk about pop-ups in a little bit, but we have 12 blood centers that are open, most of them 6 to 7 days a week. You could just walk in, but now you need to make an appointment. And the reason you need to make an appointment is to ensure that we socially distance. What we've also realized by the appointment only process is that the donors like it better too, because it's much more efficient with the use of time. So you won't have to wait. You'll come in, you'll have your appointment, and you'll start the process. The other thing you can do is the day of your donation. So you can't do it the day you make the appointment necessarily, but the actual day of your donation, you can again go to our website and fill out the donor questionnaire in advance. It's called Quick Pass because it's quick, and it's just like having pre-check or something, right? At an airport, you come in with your little barcode on your phone, we scan it, and then you go straight into the screening booth. And in the screening booth, one of our wonderful staff will review any questions that need discussed after you've done your Quick Pass. They'll do your temperature check, your blood pressure check, and also do a really quick check of your hemoglobin. Then you'll go out into the donation process and sit in a very comfy recliner chair and donate your blood. And if you're donating whole blood, that part only takes about 8 minutes. And then after that, once you're feeling okay, and most people are feeling okay pretty quickly, you go over to the what we call the canteen area or the snack area. And enjoy some wonderful cookies. We've also got salty snacks. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. Drink some fluids because that's really important. And in an hour, all said and done, you'll be from the time you walk in the door to the time you walk out the door, knowing that that hour you just saved someone's life.
Wow, that was so beautifully narrated. You walked us through the whole thing. It's like we were on a verbal GoPro where I could see exactly where I was going. Well done, my dear. So I want to take you back to almost a year, which would be March 3rd, to when our governor issued the shelter in place. Go back to that day, Vicki, and tell us how the pandemic has changed how you do business beyond those operational things you just talked about.
Changed our world upside down, essentially. Before March of last year, we collected about 60% of our blood supply out on mobiles, and a lot of them were in a bus, and a lot of them were in small spaces. And the other 40% was collected at our freestanding blood centers. Overnight, we couldn't do any of those mobiles anymore because we could not provide good social distancing. So we canceled all of our mobiles overnight and then reinvented ourselves on how we were going to be able to replace that blood. Now, we got a little bit lucky in that during those early phases of the pandemic, the hospitals were also shut down except for really emergency things. So blood usage went down as well. We got some help from across the nation in those early days because we were the epicenter here in Seattle. And then we figured out our plan during March. We put social distancing in place in our blood centers. And because folks were home more, they could come to our blood centers. So it worked out that the timing of that was very good. And then we started our pop-ups, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So right now we're drawing about 70% of our blood in our freestanding 12 blood centers and about 30% in our pop-ups. And we went to appointment only. We went to social distance for every step of the process, except of course, someone has to be close to you during that donation part. Of course, everyone wears a mask. And our staff wear medical grade masks as well. We do a lot of special cleaning in between every donor. The canteen area changed a bit in that everything is individually wrapped, single portion size, and a few other things I'm sure I'm forgetting, but we're keeping everybody safe. We don't allow any visitors, only the folks donating, no children under 16. And I think we've got a groove now. We know how to keep people safe. We have kept people safe, both our staff, first and foremost, and our donors, and ultimately the patients who will be receiving those life-saving transfusions.
So I am totally sold. I'm there. I love the mobile pop-ups that used to happen. That's how, 22 years ago, I first gave blood, was outside my work in a big bus. Mm-hmm. The best cookies and grape juice I've ever had in my life. So one of the questions, Vicki, I believe that many people have is, can the coronavirus be transferred through a blood transfusion? Because we want to remove all barriers for people to come in and give blood.
And all the data, all the scientific data and everything that my medical team has talked about is the answer to that is no. We do not test blood donations in this country or anywhere in the world, to my knowledge, for the virus itself. And there has been no known case of any kind of coronavirus being transmitted through a transfusion, which is great news. And so that's not something we need to worry about for the patients.
Excellent. So, how often can I give? And then when I do give, can you hook me up with a great pop-up?
So you can give whole blood, which is the most common kind of donation, every 56 days. One of the things we really want to encourage people to do is to donate more than once a year. We have a lot of donors who donate once a year, and that's great. Thank you. But if you donated 2 or 3 times a year and it only takes an hour, wow, that would make that impact so incredible. And we have another kind of donation called platelets that takes a couple hours where we only collect platelets. And those folks can actually donate up to 24 times a year. And many of our donors donate once a month. That's really, really common. So you can go to the website, look for a center, or look for a pop-up location. The pop-up are what we created to replace the mobiles. So they are large spaces. Many of them are spaces that aren't being used right now because of the pandemic. It allows us to socially distance. And we also go and we set up there for a period of time so that our staff don't have the churn of setting up and taking down every day, which we also felt was a little risky for everyone. So it's been at really fun locations. We've been in sports arenas, we've been in museums, we've been in theaters, and then we've been in more kind of normal places that we would think of some businesses that have large spaces, or other kinds of community centers, or church, or places of faith that have large spaces. So we've really had a lot of fun with the pop-ups.
Vicki, I want to say thank you to you and to your team for giving us the gift of life, because blood is life, and quickly pivoting. Wow, to go from most of your blood being collected mobily to have to within 72 hours figure this out. That's a lot of heart and mind. So I want to say again, thank you to you and team. And thank you for the reminder that we need to get out there and give blood. And I want to have you back on sooner than later so we can check in and find out what more we need to do to be a part of the solution. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I love that. And I'd just really like to thank all of our community for their continued dedication and support to helping other people in the community. What a wonderful thing to do. Thank you to everyone.